So this is Yuik on pbnation CVM973 on eBay. The Lurker sweet spot tuning video, or how to tune your G6r video. A lot of people wanted a video to walk them through it, so I'm going to show them. It's a 62-degree day here. Yeah, the wind's blowing south, you can see. No, that's just protein powder. I just did that for effect. Alright, so let's get started. So, beforehand, we'll see what my G6r is currently at, right? So, we're going to see the HPRs around 75 or so, and the HPR is around 170 or so. So, what I'm going to do is back out both regs. So, counterclockwise is out, less pressure. So, both regs counterclockwise, so there's no pressure in them. So, perfect. Alright, so both regs are at 0 psi. Now I'm going to degas the gun, take off my pressure tester, and do the sweet spotting. Also, a note is that if you get these big gauges, they're great because you can see a lot. However, they don't allow the tester to screw into your gun cleanly, so you have to unscrew the gauge and take off the tester, which is kind of annoying. I wish I wouldn't have gotten the 3-inch gauges. Should have got the half-size ones, but I found them for a good deal on eBay. So, now a lot of mistakes people make is when they do this, they use whatever their field paint is, which is, you know, typically some really poor GI paint. You know, any of the GI paints are really poor. Some like key field paint only. You know, and it's like oily. It's not that good shape. If your paint isn't that good, you're not really going to see the small changes that you're getting in consistency. So that's why I always suggest, you know, you want to use at least a middle of the road to upper end paint. So I'm using Valken graffiti here. You know, if you're using one of those bottom line GI paints, you know, like the GI 3-star, don't even really bother, because you're not going to really notice the fine changes. And also, I sized my barrel with the insert in there to the paint. I underboard for better consistency, because if you don't have a good paint to barrel match, and if you don't have good paint, your gun's going to be so inconsistent due to the paint. The pressures, you're not really going to notice what you're doing based on the pressures. So now, both regs are backed out, and this is where it starts. So both regs are backed out, and now to go up in pressure, you're screwing in. You're screwing both screws in, so that would be clockwise. So now the first step is to screw the HPR in, just so the gun cycles. That's the bottom one, the high pressure regulator. So you want to screw it in until your gun cycles. Alright, and then you want to screw in the LPR just a little, very slightly, just so the gun cycles and shoots paint. Alright, there you go. So it will hiss when it's too low. That's when it's about like 25 psi, the LPR. You want to just give it a little bit more, and then it'll stop hissing. So see, now it fully cycles, okay? See, and it's barely shooting paint there, but it's fully cycling. So now, all right, so now we want to raise the HPR until a raise in high pressure, that's the bottom one, doesn't cause a raise in our velocity. So, just to recap, I set both of the regs to 0. I raised them just enough so paint would shoot out of the barrel. That's it. Now, I'm going to raise the bottom one, the high pressure regulator, until a raise in this no longer equals a higher velocity. So, you need to have a chronograph. So, we're going to do that. So right now we're at like 251, 244, 258, 243, 252, 247, 251. So we're around like 252-ish. So now I'm going to give it a quarter turn clockwise, the HPR on the bottom, and see if I'm above 252. All right, so now 226, 238, 236, 242, 233, 239, 248. So it looks like that did not help. And the key is you need to take a couple shots to see. So like I'm around the 238 area, 242, 238. So now, what we need to do is, so a higher HPR pressure wouldn't yield me a higher velocity or higher feet per second. So now I need to raise my LPR in the front, clockwise, to raise it until I get to my field velocity. That would be like 280, 300. So I'm going to give it a quarter turn. And remember, I was at 238, so now let's see what I'm at now. 238. All right, now I'm at 282. Look at that, quarter turn, that's it. 288, 284, 282, 293, 284. So pretty much that put me into the range. So that's it. All I had there was just to raise my LPR a little bit just to get into the range of feet per second. So now when I take this to the field, I am always going to adjust it through the 278. I'm always going to adjust it through the HPR from now on. So now there's one last step, and that's setting your dwell. You know, I'll do that in another video.